Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to another week. Today we are continuing talking about heat and thermochemistry. You should have read last time, or for this time I should say, about exothermic and endothermic. And we've talked a little bit about this throughout the year. But to sort of formally define this, we have to understand that all chemical and physical processes, um, almost all I should say, involve an exchange of heat. And that can be heat released, such as when the newspaper burns or when gasoline burns or something like that. That is called exothermic, right? So exo meaning heat is leaving, it's going out, okay, into the environment, and of course therm meaning heat, right? So if you look at this little energy diagram, all this is showing you is the reactants, like let's say the gasoline and the oxygen that are reacting, would have a lot of stored chemical energy. And the products do not. So what comes out of your tailpipe when you burn gasoline is going to be low energy stuff. Um, and therefore it's going to be much lower in heat, and that heat has to go someplace, and it's going to be released. And of course, without that heat, you wouldn't be able to move your car down the road because the heat causes gases to expand, which moves the little cylinders inside your car's engine and so forth. So that's an example of an exothermic reaction, or an exothermic reaction, which are typically more common than endothermic. But of course, we figured it out already. Endo would be just the opposite. Heat is absorbed. So a diagram of that is going to look just like this. Our reactants would start with very low energy, and as we add uh, add heat, we get to our products. An example of that would be photosynthesis. That example was used in the reading. If you think about it, you're taking low energy carbon dioxide and water, and you're adding sunlight, which of course is a form of energy. We usually think about heat being exchanged, but it can also be light. So any form of energy, really. So that as that sunlight is absorbed, we're able to take that low energy carbon dioxide and water and turn it into high energy sugar, which of course the glucose, which of course can be consumed by a cow if we're talking about grass, or a banana if we're talking about I'm sorry, consumed by a person if we're talking about a banana. Um, so that's an example of an endothermic reaction. Um, the law of conservation of energy. Okay, so this part was addressed in part of the reading too. It's very important that we understand that in the universe, um, through chemical and physical processes, you cannot create or destroy energy. And so energy can only be transferred from place to place. And so where does this come in with endothermic and exothermic? Well, this little diagram here I think was pretty good. It shows that if you have an endothermic process, the we have the system, which is the stuff that's undergoing the change. So let's say a chemical reaction. Let's say an ice pack. If you did the little simulation with the ice pack in the reading, it showed that many of the substances that you can put inside of a chemical cold pack that you might use, on the soccer field if you sprain your ankle, are going to drop the temperature, and that's what's going to act in place of an ice pack to keep your sprained ankle from swelling. Um, so how does that work? Well, the the salt and water inside the ice pack create an endothermic reaction to absorb heat. Okay, so if the salt and the water are the system, so they're the thing that is undergoing a chemical change, and they're absorbing heat. So the question is, okay, so where are they taking the heat from? And the answer would be, well, from their surroundings, from the air, from your skin if you put it on your ankle, and that's going to make you feel colder. So it's absorbing heat, and then to the touch, it's going to feel cold because when you touch it, you're part of the surroundings. An exothermic reaction, like burning gasoline or burning a log on the fireplace, is giving off heat to the surroundings. So it's going to feel hot. It's going to warm up the air around the fireplace. So there's no net loss in energy. It's just converted from chemical energy, like what you have in wood, to heat energy as you heat up the surroundings as that wood burns. So you have the system, the substance or substances that's undergoing a change, and then you have the surroundings, which is basically everything else, everything in the immediate vicinity, at least, of those surroundings. So we're going to talk a little bit next time about how we measure heat being exchanged, and so that we understand this relationship between the system and the surroundings, and how can something absorbing heat tell us exactly how endothermic or exothermic the reaction is.